Hi everyone, thank you for joining this presentation about decoding speech perception from non-invasive brain recordings. Uh, so I'm presenting, my name is Jérémy, along with Rajavana and my colleague. So the paper has four main parts in the presentation. We'll start with introduction and debaters to are used, the model and the pipeline, including the code, the training, the preprocessing, and the was used. And challenges and the. So starting with the introduction, so the this process for getting the speech from the brain using the use of the non-invasive methods that doesn't include surgery or any harm to the body. So you were the electrodes are put on the scalp, and then they were used to get images from the brain using the spectrogram. And as you can see, so after looking for the brain activity, they they get the image and the speech. So what the research tries to solve is the long-standing goal in healthcare, as you can understand, like if you're able to get the speech from the brain without uh, like much of the talking from the person, and it extends the decoding capabilities from the basic linguistic features of natural speech, and it iterates the well-trained models for improved decoding. So it also tries to achieve high accuracy in decoding words and phrases. So we'll also try to emphasize the importance of convolutional pictures gained from these different participants. We also try to standardize the lexical contextual semantic presentation. We also enable applications in healthcare for communication aids. So as you can see, the methods that were used, uh, there are two methods mostly. So there's electroencephalography, EEG, as you can see it in this image. So it's like electrodes that are placed on the scalp around the head, and they get the image, the brain activity, they show them in a spectrogram, and then you get the speech from the spectrogram using the models. So there's also MEG, which is similar to the EEG, but there is a special machine that is the way you put in your head to get the images, and the presentation of words and nouns. The decoders are used, trained using supervised learning, predict the speech. So the model that was used is the contrastive loss and to distinguish the speech segments. So as you can see here, the spectrogram takes in it shows presents the brain activity in graphics, and then the models decode the activity into speeches. For brain module is an approach that is used, and it shows the brain activity using the architecture of this method, and they use the new convolutional layers for getting the brain activity. Uh, then the speech module is also used in getting like uh, for getting speech activities. So it's inspired and capture the cortical representations, replace the MS pictograms with related representation with speech, and he utilizes convolution architecture as we saw here, a convolution networks or convolution layers. Also, the speech uses the similar approach using this model DeepL. Yeah, and for the training, this model is trained on audio for predicting the audios, and then the features that are from the audios. Yeah, so the model that was used here, there was this wave to VEC large, returned on 56K, hours of speech. So for the pipeline, I'll welcome my colleague Barbara to continue.
Thank you, Am. Okay. Now, in the first slide of the pipeline process, we have the datasets. The authors wisely chose to employ 4 publicly accessible datasets, 2 based on MEG recordings and 2 on EEG recordings. All studies obtained ethical approval, and the datasets are publicly accessible for fundamental research, of course. Each participant provided informed consent. The datasets encompass diverse content, including Dutch sentences and English stories, reflecting a purposeful selection for the research. The commitment to ethical practices and detailed dataset characteristics underscores the robustness of the exploration. Okay, now to the pre-processing. Now let's dive into the pre-processing steps detailed in the paper. Okay, this is where the authors lay the foundation for robust model training. Okay, now the pre-processing steps detailed in the paper of the subsequent model training, the decision to resample MEG and EEG recordings to 120 Hz demonstrates a thoughtful approach to standardizing the datasets. And the data was split into 70% training, 20% validation, 10% testing sets, ensuring diverse segments, of course, across repetitions. Okay, to address artifacts. Now, the baseline correction and robust scaling were applied. Mel spectrogram processing included 120 bands, log compression, and normalization. Notably, the authors carefully curated the dataset, avoiding redundancy and ensuring uniformity for subsequent model training and evaluation. Okay, now for the training. As we progress, the training methodology unfolds as a meticulous process, emphasizing the methodical nature of this research endeavor. The training process involved iterating through the dataset for 200 epochs. Okay, they also used the Adam optimizer with a learning rate of 3 by 10 to the power of -4, and the batch size of 256, and early stopping callback is implemented to prevent overfitting. And the best model is selected based on its performance, of course, on the validation set, with the criterion being the validation loss. Okay, now for the evaluation. Okay, with the model trained, let's move on to the multi-faceted evaluation process that truly puts its performance to the test. Okay, the inclusion of visualizations such as mill spectrogram reconstructions using different models provides tangible insights into the model's capabilities, like segmentation and word-level evaluations, complemented by prediction analysis, statistics, and considerations of loss. Collectively form a robust framework for assessing the effectiveness of the model in decoding speech from brain signals. Okay, and for the results. Now, the moment we have all been waiting for, the results, the true testament to the success of the proposed model. The model accurately decodes speech from MEG and EEG recordings, achieving a top 10 accuracy up to 70.7% on average across MEG subjects, with a top 1 accuracy up to 41.3%. In the best performing subjects, top 1 accuracy exceeds 80%. Okay. Even in the best performing subjects, such as the dataset of G. Williams et al., our model, the model that achieves top 1 accuracy above 80%. These results significantly outperform a random model, which achieves less than 1% top 10 accuracy on the same MEG dataset. While decoding performance for EEG datasets is more modest, of course, it still surpasses the random base. Now for the speech module. Okay. Now for the moving on, let's delve into the evaluation of the speech module. Okay. Models trained to predict the Mel spectrogram with contrastive loss showed decoding gains ranging from 2% to 42% compared to regression-based models, targeting latent representations of the Mel spectrogram, especially with a pre-trained speech module like wave-to-vector 2.0, like AM said, yielded the best results. Now for the next slide. Okay. Now let's dissect the architecture of the model through a series of ablation experiments, revealing critical components that significantly impact its performance. A series of ablation experiments were conducted on the brain module elements. Performance systematically decreased while removing skip connections, spatial attention module, and initial or final convolutional layers. Clamping was essential too for training the model. The subject layers showed a modest gain in performance. The model demonstrated robustness to MEG, EEG artifacts, requiring minimal pre-processing. Okay, now for this next slide. Now the decoded representations. Okay, as we unravel the layers of the model, let's take a closer look at the decoded representations, providing invaluable insights to its understanding of speech futures. Training a linear regression to predict word probabilities based on various features, including part of speech, word embeddings, and phrase embeddings, reveals the high-level representations harnessed by the model for decoding speech from brain signals. This nuanced analysis enhances our comprehension of the indirect processes at play in the model's decision-making. Now the final one, the challenges and applications. Okay, next slide. Okay, our exploration of the paper reveals that the impact of this research extends across a diverse spectrum of applications. The breakthroughs in assistive communication devices offers transformative possibilities for individuals facing severe motor disabilities. For example, the promising application of the model in speech rehabilitation provides support for those in need for like speech disorders or on the path to recovery from conditions like stroke, for example. Furthermore, the insights generated contribute significantly to neurological studies to shedding lights on how the brain processes the speech and language. And in the realm of human-computer interaction, HCI, the model's innovative approach opens up possibilities to users to interact with their devices using their own thoughts, marking a notable advancement in user interface technology. Okay. The next slide, please. Okay, now for the paper implementation. Now, for those who are eager to explore the hands-on aspects of the paper, we invite you to dive into the code implementation available on GitHub. Unfortunately, at this time, we couldn't find any live demo for the actual model decoding the signals. However, we encourage you to engage with the code and experience the implementation process by cloning the repository and running it on your local machines. Next slide. Okay. After we have reviewed the applications that we have outlined in the paper, while promising, they are not without their challenges and limitations. Ethical considerations related to privacy, consent, and potential misuse of decoded information emerge as significant concerns in the deployment of such models in real-world scenarios. And we have also the computational complexity of the models, especially in scenarios involving large data sets or, for example, real-time applications, poses a notable challenge. Additionally, the model's reliance on specific datasets and tasks prompts questions its adaptability to real-world uncontrolled scenarios or different experimental paradigms. These considerations underscore the need for further exploration and refinement in the practical application of the model. Next slide. Okay, at the end, our conclusion. Having delved into the paper, we found out that the showcase model presents both commendable strengths and areas for improvement. The paper underscores the model's high accuracy, particularly in decoding speech from brain signals, especially with MEG recordings. The comparative analysis of MEG and EEG highlights the superiority of MEG recordings, providing valuable insights into the capabilities of different recording devices. But however, The challenges outlined in generalizing the model across diverse scenarios and populations necessitate further exploration, and ethical considerations raised in the paper, particularly those tied to the decoding cognitive processes from brain signals, demand careful attention. In essence, while the model represents a significant leap forward, and ongoing research and ethical considerations are pivotal for its responsible and effective integration into the real-world applications. Okay. Oh, now, question and answers. Anyone have a question? Okay, I think we are done here. Thank you for watching and listening, and thank you, Em, for share screening your laptop. Thank you a lot, and see you.